The following is an exclusive presentation of WI Garden Media, the voice of Garden Talk Radio.
Coming up on the program today, we're going to discuss should you buy or not buy at the garden center, as well as building your soil. Our guest is the godfather of tomatoes. Craig LeHoullier will be with us and will answer your garden questions. The hour's full, so join us.
You are listening to the most informationally packed hour of garden-focused radio in the country and on the internet with your host, husband and wife team Joey and Holly Baird. This is the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
And welcome to another edition of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. So happy that you want to be part of the program and take part in tuning in each week. I am your host, Joey Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
This program is for you, about you, to help your garden grow better, to maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make your grass look greener, as well as preserving what you grow. Whether you're tuning in and listening to us on one of the 20 AM and FM frequencies broadcasting our program here in 2025, Season 9, through a radio app, through our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Season 9 tab at the top of the page, podcast replay or in-studio video replay. Thank you so much for being part of the program. If you want to be more interactive with the program than just listening to it, which we appreciate, you can send us an email to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or you can give us a call. Give us a call anytime, toll-free, coast-to-coast at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. Before we get in the program, Holly, it's time for this week's Joke of the Week.
Did you know a friend perfected their garden flower beds? Did you want to know how?
How did they do that?
Through the process of trial and error.
There you go.
Ba-dum-bum. This week's garden joke is brought to you by Rescue.com. American-made rescue products keep your family, home, and yard protected from pest insects like wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at Rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com. So
we are in prime time in some places, but for most of us, in a few weeks, we'll be having the opportunity to visit our local independent garden center. If you choose to go to the big box store, that is also acceptable. We encourage you to support the small businesses. But there's what to buy, what not to buy at the garden center. And we'll start this off by saying there's a lot of great plants at a garden center in which you can buy. However, the variety and the quantity of the type of variety is limited because they can't have 100 different types of tomatoes or 85 different types of peppers. There, maybe 10 varieties, 8 varieties. That type of numbers is what they're going to have versus if you was to buy them from jungseed.com or Totally Tomatoes. There is a limited amount that you can buy. So, some very easy ones, what to buy when you go to your garden center.
Yeah, so tomatoes, peppers, things like that. Those are definitely always a good choice at the garden center. Any sort of native flowers or grasses that are natural to your area. Onion starts, leeks, those are good. Back to tomatoes real quick. You just want to, and any start, peppers too. You don't want to buy ones that have the fruit on them. And it might not be starch. You might see this miniature pepper or tomato plant, and it's going to have the fruit on it. And it's, you're buying this in May. And you are in a growing zone that you shouldn't have tomatoes till August. That's bad.
Berry plants. You can buy berry plants of a variety of different sizes. Also, you can get rooted plants such as asparagus crowns, 1 or 2 year asparagus crowns to assist in your sooner to harvest period for those, as they take quite a long time. Now, the easy aspect of this is the things you should buy. Let's go over the things in which you shouldn't buy at the garden center. One being any type of a root crop, meaning radishes or carrots. Those are things in which they do sell, and you will they will die whenever you try to transplant them. They do this. We spoke about it last week. We spoke about it many times over the years. They do this because it's a moneymaker. They're going to sell the plant because it looks convenient that, they've already started the carrot seeds or the radish seeds. Don't buy them.
Same thing with cucumbers.
Squashes, very sensitive in the transplant aspect. And if you direct sow both of those in about a 4-week period, the plants are the same because of the shock that the transplant is occurring if it does make it past that shock versus the direct sow.
And as I had mentioned before, plants that have fruit on them, tall and lanky plants. So if you're like, this plant looks really great because it's really tall, but it's like thin and kind of spindly looking, you don't want that.
That is called, they're stretching for sunlight. That's called legginess. That's not good. Don't buy these plants. Only buy these plants if they're giving them away free at the end of the day, because you're not not going to baby these in order to turn them into a state fair record producing plant, pepper or tomato or whatever. It just is not. They're already stressed. They've already got a 2 strikes against them type of outlook.
And then plants that have any webbing or bugs under the leaves. I mean, if it's like a bug like a bee or like a regular pollinator that just.
But if you've got white flies or you've got aphids, and here's the thing, it's okay. You are purchasing these plants, whether you're paying $1 or $15. It's just like when you go to your favorite apparel store. You go and you're not going to buy a jersey for $89 without probably trying it on to make sure it's the right size of your favorite athletic player. So you're going to look at these plants, examine them under the leaves, pull them out of the container gently. You can do that. See what the roots look like. You're going to probably have root-bound plants. That's going to be a given.
Yeah.
But what does the color of the roots look like? Are they vibrant white? Are they muggy?
Like gray and rotten.
Rotten? Yeah. Is there a smell to those roots?
If it smells like rot, you can smell rot. It's not. It smells, like
examine it.
Trash, basically.
Yeah. You're paying for this. You can do this. This is perfectly fine to examine these plants. Sometimes these plants are quite costly and are an investment. So you want to make sure that you have the best plant. And now, if you're at a true, authentic, genuine, they appreciate you as a customer, independent garden center, and you find a plant that is got bugs on it, or have webbing on it, or just what we talked about, rotten roots, you can take it to the staff and go, hey, I was going to buy this, but it's not a healthy plant. You might want to...
Yeah, they'll tear it out. They'll, get rid of it.
And they may even look at the other ones in there because there might be something going on with the rest of that particular variety.
So I beg to differ. You put just because it looks nice not to buy it, and I have bought plants that look nice. So
and we've struggled to figure out where to put them.
Listen, that's not the point. The point we figured out a spot. Though.
I know, but going into a garden center, you want to have a plan. Here's what I want. Here's what I need. Okay, I need 5 rosemary plants, 6 basil plants, 15 tomato plants. I mean, it does get costly. That's why we encourage you, if you can, to start your own. But some people want to do it this way, but you want to know that you have enough space.
I guess for me, it's like, if you know that you have space and you are like, I was going to get XYZ and I probably have enough space and I do like this plant and I'm going to spend a little bit, take a chance and buy this plant because it's going to bring me some joy to try something new or have a new pretty plant. I think it's worth it, but if you don't have room in your budget, room in your garden,
and you may be the individual where joy is short-lived because the plant dies.
That's a chance I'm willing to take.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Another thing you don't buy at the garden center: buy 3 and get 1 free.
Why is that bad?
Because you.
What if you need 4 plants?
That's different. But if you're just going in, you're buying these. Oh, look at that! I don't know what that is, but I can buy 3 and get 1 free. I'll figure out somewhere to put it. That doesn't do you any good. It's like people buying stuff on sale that they don't need and don't have a purpose for, but they buy it because, hey, I saved $3. Now I got to give it to somebody because I have no use for it. Or I already have 4 at home and I didn't remember that.
Right. So buy 3, get 1 free. Maybe somebody gave you a gift card or you have somebody, like I don't know, your aunt.
You feel obligated.
Yeah, you feel obligated. Your aunt gave you a gift card. Oh, you mentioned starting a garden. I'm going to give you this gift card or some coupon or something.
Coupons are only best not used because then you save all the money.
Okay, I like a coupon. If I'm
coupon,
going to utilize
right.
it, yeah. But I'm not going to just go to use a coupon. Like this past weekend, I was at the pet store and I had a coupon for 10% off, and I got there and we're having a neighbor sale or something, and everything was 20% off, which was even better.
But there was things in which you needed.
Yeah.
You weren't just going to buy stuff because it was 20% off. There are people that do that, and that's how, one, they get in financial situations that they're not happy with.
I did buy an extra cat dish.
And two, you're buying things and you become. We end up seeing you on, what is it, the History Channel or whatever, the Hoarders Buried Alive. We ended up, that type of thing.
Right. And I technically needed the cat dish.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Yes. So anyway,
but don't the gift card. Most gift cards are there's no time limit on them.
No, so you could definitely even just go back for like a houseplant at some point,
or a couple of seeds. You don't have to go buy a bunch of stuff that you really don't need because you feel like you owe it to Aunt Janice because she put $50 on this gift card.
Right.
So we're kind of
be conscientious and think about
And we're not knocking you because we've all done this, but we want you to be aware of things that you may not think about. Right. Things not to buy. Oh, not that plant, but these other things as well.
I absolutely agree. You have to make a smart choice and make sure that you are spending your money wisely. And also, I don't think there's a shortage of seed starts, but don't take more than you need for anything. You can always go back and hopefully get some if you do need more.
Right.
So speaking of that, needing more, we're brought to you today by our sponsor, Walton's Inc. We care about where your food comes from, canning, preserving your fruits and vegetables. But what about the meat? At Walton's Inc., you can get all the equipment, seasoning, and supplies to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way to your high standards. Do you want to make snack sticks that people will actually like? Walton's created meatgistics.com, an informational site to help you make the best finished product. You can go from animal to edible. They have their full line of meat grinders, mixers, sausage stuffers to help you go from animal to edible. Walton's everything but the meat. Use code GROW50, GROW50, save 10% off your orders of $50 or more, and that's at waltonsinc.com.
Hang out with us. When we return, we'll be discussing building your soil, what you need to do in order to make it most viable for the plants in which you're going to grow this year. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now, 1-800-927-SHOW.
Edmonds Roses is a family-owned and operated rose company with the largest selection of roses online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at edmondroses.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at edmondsroses.com. Jung Seed Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company since 1907 with the largest selection of seeds and plants online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at jungseed.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at jungseed.com.
Make watering easy. DripWorks provides quality drip irrigation supplies and equipment to gardeners just like you for all your growing needs across the U.S. and Canada. Purchase online at dripworks.com. Want bigger blooms and better yields without the hassle? Carricade makes gardening easy with eco-friendly, effective solutions. Rated 4.8 stars, trusted by growers like you. Shop carricade.com/radio or Amazon today. Use code radio10 to get 10% off at carricade.com/radio. Wondering if your soil is ready for a successful spring planting season? At Grow Smarts, we make it easy to find out. With our at-home soil test kits, you can pinpoint exactly what your garden or lawn needs to thrive. Simply order online and we'll ship a test kit right to your door with everything you need, including a prepaid shipping label to send the item back. In just 2 business days, you'll receive clear, concise lab results highlighting your soil's pH levels and nutrient needs. Plus, our customized recommendations will guide you on the perfect fertilizers and amendments to use. used. No more guesswork, just healthier plants, vibrant flowers, and bountiful harvests. Right now you can save 10% on your order with the code RADIO at growsmart.com. That's GROSMART.com with code RADIO. It's time to kick off your spring garden with confidence. Make the most of your soil and watch your garden flourish, because when you grow smarter, your garden flourishes. Pomona's Universal Pectin is a high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar or honey to sweeten. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Also available at natural food stores and online. Wind River Chimes will always be the inspiring harmony. With a large selection and customization options, you will find the sound that soothes you. Visit windriverchimes.com to shop and find out more.
Vermont Bean Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company with the largest selection of seeds online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at vermontbean.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at vermontbean.com.
Brome is home to the Squirrel Buster brand of truly squirrel-proof bird feeder. We have been designing and manufacturing wild bird feeders since 1998. When a squirrel lands on the Squirrel Buster, its weight automatically closes the seed ports, denying access to the seed, but not harming the squirrels. We design products that are simple enough for anyone to use. They're built to last a long time and are backed by our lifetime care to extend the life of our products. We offer expert customer service to help owners with any needed maintenance or repairs. Visit brome.com for more information.
Welcome back to the Gardening with Joe and Holly radio show. Thank you for being part of the program today. Happy that you're with us, listening on the radio, podcast replay, in-studio video replay, however you're doing it. Happy to have you along. Well, Holly, one of the key to a good garden, a successful garden, is the soil. Soil is the lifeblood of the garden, and we're going to talk about how we can build our soil to get it the best that it can be.
A lot of people, I don't want to say a lot of people, but maybe a lot of people don't always realize how vital it is to have good soil, healthy soil, nutrient-dense soil, etc., because it is the lifeblood of the garden, of the plants. A lot of people think you have to feed your soil, and then that feeds the plants, or you have to feed the plants. Feed the plant. That's
feed the plant with that with a liquid that we're not going to mention.
But it's like plant crack.
Yeah. It's a miracle something.
Yeah.
Because that is what they've been educated on through the marketing of that particular brand.
And at one time, you were the same way.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yes.
Yeah, not because of the marketing, because of the background of farming.
How you were raised.
Right.
And it's a common misconception. It's completely fair. However, through education and me gently poking Joey in the right direction, he has learned, and a lot of people have learned, the importance of having nutrient-dense soil. So we're going to talk about how to build your soil and kind of understand it in a way. So you want to use
organic matter,
not topsoil.
You want to start by adding regular organic material, whether that is a compost in which you've purchased or compost in which you've made yourself. Now, we never can make enough compost ourselves, so we have to supplement that in some form. Whether that being buying bulk material, which typically your independent garden center will have bulk material available where they will deliver it for a fee, and you can get 1 to 8 yards. Now, that's a lot of compost.
Yeah.
Because
8 cubic yards.
8 cubic yards. Now, a cubic yard is think of a box, 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot. That's how much 1 yard is.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
A lot of soil.
But you can get them at a phenomenal deal compared to like that 1 cubic yard of soil. Maybe let's say it's $40. Okay. If you went to purchase it in the bag form, you're looking at like $200+.
Yeah, if you just want a little bit,
if not more.
Yeah, if you just want a little bit, like if you just want a square cubic foot,
or topping off some grow bags or containers on the porch.
Fine.
Yeah.
But if you are filling some raised beds, a lot of containers,
you're gonna have to mortgage the house.
Right. So anyway, so you want to add organic matter. That could be your own compost. That could be leaves. That could be seed free and weed free,
chemical free
grass
clippings.
Weed free, seed
free,
yeah.
weed free, yeah. Because when we say chemical free, seed free grass clippings, if the grass has gone to seed, that's not going to be good because you're going to bring that into the garden, or you're going to, if your compost doesn't get hot enough, it will cause the seeds to be viable. This is in the hot composting method. There is a cold composting where you just pile it all up, let it break down, and your seeds are going to be, the weed seeds are going to be viable. Chemically wise, if you apply a weed and feed to your yard that has a 2,4-D, which is a broadleaf spray that kills all the broadleaves, that's why the grass looks pretty and you don't have the dandelions or the lamb's quarter or fill in the blank grass or weeds, that is potent enough that it will stay with the grass clipping through the compostable form into black soil and be distributed into your garden. And that 2,4-D is still active and will affect your tomatoes, your peppers, your eggplants, your green beans. And it can take many years of remitigation of that soil in order to purge it from your garden, which has been introduced from your yard.
Right.
So you want to be aware not to include those grass clippings or just avoid the weed and feed altogether, because fun thing here, bees need those flowers, which is dandelions, as the first food of the summer or of spring. And fine and dandy, if you want to take dandelions out of your yard, if you're going to do that, you need to talk to everybody in a 5-mile radius of your residence, because that's how far those seeds will fly.
Yeah.
So you better be nice to everybody and make sure they all get the dandelions if you don't want any in your yard.
It's kind of like fighting an uphill battle. Anyway,
they're pretty.
So you want to, I think they're pretty. Yeah. I like them. So you want to also think about testing your soil to understand its needs. If you are not having success, that may warrant a soil test to get an idea of what's going on beneath the surface.
From growsmart.com or Soil Savvy. All these can be found at our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, underneath the Money tab and Season 9 tab, with the soil. Holly, you can't, there's certain telltale signs that the plants will distribute or show you that, hey, something's not right. But you can't look at a pile of soil and go, that pH is 7.9 and it's got this. There's no way of knowing it. You can't know that by looking.
And there's these like DIY situations where people are like, add vinegar, take some soil and put some vinegar, and then if it bubbles, it means it's acidic. And there's no science behind that. You just want to utilize a soil test.
There are some wonderful DIY things that you can do in your backyard with the garden. Soil testing is not one of them.
No. So anyway, we want to minimize soil compaction. And a lot of the most basic way to do this would be to make walking rows and planting rows. That's one way. Another thing would be raised beds, raised berms. There's hugelkultur, where you grow out of a rotten rock. That would help.
Not a rotten rock. Log. That's covered by soil.
But it's basically, it rots down.
It rots down, and it's kind of a little mound or hill, and you grow on that hill.
I just always have rocks on my brain.
Before we went to raised beds, we did the permanent grow area and designated walk area to minimize the soil compaction. We moved to raised beds because of the weed issue of dealing with weeds all the time. We went from 1,800 square feet to 650 square feet and still produced the same amount because we brought in good soil, and it's elevated and it's on irrigation, and it's a lot less maintenance, though there's still weeds. Just because you go to raised beds, that is not we're done with weeds for the rest of our lives. That just minimizes the weeds. And if you stay on top of it and weed as the weeds come up, you don't have a pasture you have to weed out around your tomatoes or peppers. In some aspects, that can actually benefit the plants that you're growing, because it creates a shade and a living mulch on the soil. It does take nutrients away from the peppers, eggplants, tomatoes, green beans, but it shades the soil where it's not getting baked on the 100-degree days. It kind of, in a weird way, works.
Right.
So if you're lazy, it kind of maybe will work in a strange way. You want to mulch to protect.
That's not called lazy. That's called working smarter, not harder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some people want a pristine magazine cover PBS style looking garden. And if you have the time and you choose to do that, that's great, wonderful. We will be the first to say that when you go to our website and look at the videos, ours is not that then. We are just everyday backyard gardeners.
Yeah, and a lot of people, have jobs or other commitments and don't have time to weed every square inch.
But if you love to weed, please send us an email at twvgshow, gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's our other email, and we'll talk. Mulching can suppress the weeds. We encourage a organic mulch, such as leaves, shredded grass clippings, again, chemical-free, seed-free. Synthetic mulches are not good because they don't break down. Synthetic mulches may be more presentable in a flower bed or side of a house, a rose bed, rather than an edible garden, or around ornamentals or perennials like asparagus or raspberries or blackberries, something like that, in which it's going to be there for a long time. The problem with that is when you for those, you're not digging the soil, you're just removing the fruit or the vegetable that's above the ground. So you can do that. Wood chips are great for a walk path. You can get those from getchipdrop.com and have free chip drop, free wood chips delivered right to your driveway. Free service there. Avoid synthetic fertilizers. We've talked about that because it's not helping the soil.
No.
You're wanting to feed the soil, which feeds the plants. Mm-hmm. There are organic fertilizers that do just that.
But just because it's organic doesn't mean that it's necessarily safe.
Correct.
So you want to follow the directions with any sort of fertilizer, additive, whatever you're adding to your garden, whether it's organic or not, because just because more is good, it does not mean it is
just
better.
Because you think.
Just because you think more is good. Oh, half a cup is great, so I'll do a whole cup because that's going to be the best. No, first of all, most of these.
Would you do that if you're baking a cake? No. You wouldn't put 2 cups of flour in if it required 1.
That would be probably a very dense cake.
Yeah, but it's the same concept.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a reason why there are directions on these packages, the product, because you don't want to overuse the product and cause possibly damage to your soil, to your plants, to your ecosystem. Second of all, a lot of these organic fertilizers are very water soluble, so you're just flushing your money, whatever product down the drain or down
the sewer.
Which
is going into the lakes and the rivers, causing algae bloom,
right?
Causing other issues.
Right. So you want to make sure you are using them responsibly per the package directions. And if you're not sure, you can go to the Not a Dollar store, buy yourself some cheap measuring cups, and they can be for your garden supplies.
With the grass clippings, if you have seed-free and chemical-free grass clippings, you don't necessarily want to apply that directly after you've bagged them or it's been cut. You want to let them dry because you can develop mold and fungus in around your vegetation, which can potentially distribute into the plant or on the leaves, which can cause some problems. So you just want to let it dry. If you bagged it, just take it and have a certain area where you can just dump it, and then a one layer, or in a hot day it doesn't take long for it to dry, but you don't want to put it right around your plants right away is right. what I'm getting at. Well, yeah. Soon it will be warming up, Holly, and we want to make sure you can enjoy your yard without sharing it with those beetles and grubs.
Yeah, with spring just around the corner, it's time to start thinking about controlling beetles and grubs in the yard. There's, people are talking about the Japanese beetles, and they are waiting.
Grub Gone can be applied to turf or garden around ornamentals to control those grubs and lessen the impact of the beetles have on your yard this summer. Easy to use. Use a commercial spreader or irrigate it right into the soil. It is specifically designed to target grubs and beetle invaders without harming beneficial insects like bees, butterflies, and ladybugs.
And to be honest, it's the only non-chemical that works. Find out more at phyllombioproducts.com. That's PHYLLOM bioproducts.com.
Or grubgone.com. Hang out with us. The godfather of tomatoes, Craig LeHoullier, will be with us. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Get higher yields with durable green bed raised garden bed kits designed to be drainable, breathable, pest resistant, and long-lasting. DurableGreenBed.com. Abundance guaranteed.
David J. Frank, Southeastern Wisconsin's leading landscape company, is a landscaper you need. Their award-winning services include everything from lawn care, landscape maintenance, design, construction, renovation, irrigation, sustainability, and more. Big or small, let the experts at David J. Frank handle the hard work for you. Find out more at davidjfrank.com. Roots and Rhizomes is a family-owned and operated gardening company specializing in daylilies, irises, and perennials. Use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at rootsrhizomes.com. That's code 15TG25. Garden like a pro in 3 easy steps and receive customized fertilizer recommendations for your garden or lawn. Soil Savvy helps you determine what nutrients your plants need to thrive. Never again over-apply nutrients they don't need. A patented process that makes you a smart gardener. To get your soil test kit, go to mysoilsavvy.com.
If you could double the life of your raised bed boxes by sealing the wood with a clear, non-toxic wood preservative, would you? Well, now you can with a clear, penetrating product called Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's 100% non-toxic and easy to apply. Seal your untreated wood surfaces, even chicken coops, by spraying on Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's invisible, seals the wood from the inside out, and never wears off. Recommended by organic gardening experts. Internal Wood Stabilizer. Check it out at timberprocoatingsusa.com. Tree Ivy Root Development System, the quickest way to get new trees on their feet. treeivy.com.
R.H. Shumway is a family-owned and operated gardening company with a large selection of seeds and plants online. You can use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at rhshumway.com. That's code 15TG25.
Mantis garden tiller cultivators are the perfect solution for any garden. With their gas-powered 2-cycle or 4-cycle engine, these powerful machines can till 9 or 16 inches of land without you breaking a sweat. And it doesn't stop there. Mantis's optional attachments allow you to aerate, plow, and more with the snap of a finger. Engineered with durability in mind, Mantis tiller cultivators will be your guaranteed garden companion for a long time. You can find more out and details at mantis.com. Have insects such as aphids or fungal gnats invaded your plants? Fight back with Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bits. Organic Summit Year-Round Spray Oil kills insect pests on indoor and outdoor plants. All natural mosquito bits kill fungal gnats larvae in container plants. Both products are harmless to people, plants, and wildlife. Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bit are available at garden centers, hardware stores, and at SummitResponsibleSolutions.com. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Miss any of those coupon codes you've heard throughout the show? Our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com. Underneath the season or underneath the money tab at the top of the page, you can find all of them there. Holly, let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for this week.
Craig LeHoullier is a tomato nut with a website, blog, newsletter on occasion, and a huge tomato and pepper and eggplant collection. He is also an author, gardener, educator, and he is also known to many as a North Carolina tomato man. Welcome to the program, Craig.
Thank you so much, Joey and Holly. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, we thank you so much for taking time and the information you're about to share with us. Now, some people may call you the godfather of tomatoes, but how did this lifelong passion begin? Was it something that you discovered early, or was there an aha moment in your life that you went, this is my path, this is where I need to go?
Yeah, well, if lifelong can start at around 3 or 4 years old, it began with the trips that my grandfather and I took through his garden when I was very young, and he showed me his dahlias and his sweet peas and his tomato plants and the strawberries, and I was really lucky. I also had a dad that would, even at 2 years old, take me to local parks and, point at the flowers and teach me the names. And the only reason I remember this is I've got pictures of all this, and it became my personal reality really in 1981 when my wife and I got married in 1980, and we had our first garden, and the rest is history. I've gardened ever since.
Great. Now, can you tell us more about how you get to name the Cherokee purple tomato?
Yeah, well, how about being one of the luckiest guys in the world? I had joined the Seed Savers Exchange in 1986, and people started to figure out there's this guy in Pennsylvania who collects tomato varieties. So a fellow named John D. Green, who lived in Sevierville, Tennessee, wrote me a letter, and in it he included a small sample of seeds, probably no more than 20, and the letter essentially said, this is an unnamed tomato, it's purple, and it was shared with me by someone whose grandfather received it from the Cherokee Indians 100 years ago. So that puts it somewhere in the 1880s, 1890s. I grew it, fell in love with it. The flavor was wonderful. The color was unique. When I grew that in 1990, that tomatoes of that color were really not known at all. So I gave it the name Cherokee Purple, sent it to my friend Jeff McCormick, who ran a seed company, Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. He gave me a call the next year, said he loved the flavor, loved the story, but it's the color of a bruise that when you bang your thigh at the edge of a table. And he told me, he said, this tomato is never going to catch on. Americans love their tomatoes red. They will not accept a weird-looking tomato like this. And here we are in 2025, and I really can go to any farmer's market in the country and probably see that tomato sold. So, like I said, would I have been asked to write epic tomatoes without having received Cherokee Purple and become known in the tomato world? Maybe, maybe not, but I owe a lot to that tomato, and it's still one of my top 3 tomatoes that I just have grown every year since receiving that seed.
Well, and you say the society wouldn't accept something other than a red tomato. Now, if you survey 100 backyard gardeners, I think most of them wouldn't want to grow a red tomato. They want to grow a yellow or a peach or a green or a purple or whatever color. They don't want red.
No, we sold seedlings in Raleigh for 20 years, and it started off, what have you got for red? And I would always give them a pink or a yellow or a white or a green. And within a few years, well, they want the Easter egg collections. They want every color in their garden. So you just have to ease people along a little bit and encourage them. And then they realize this is fun stuff to grow a tomato that is just something out of the ordinary.
I just love it. I love the Cherokee Purple tomato, and I just think it's so cool. So
and it's so different in flavor compared to a mortgage lifter or a black crim. It's just this distinct pop in your mouth flavor.
Yeah. And, you raised a really interesting point. I did a blind tomato tasting with Joe Lample a few years ago, and it proved something that I always kind of knew. We eat with our eyes. And if you don't take the color of what you're eating into account, your perceptions of flavor will be very, very different. And each tomato has its own personality and own particular flavor. So it's made this an endlessly interesting, infinite hobby for me. I just turned 69. I hope to be gardening when I'm 100. So that gives me another 31 years of growing 100 tomatoes a year.
I love it. So your book is Epic Tomatoes. Please tell us about it. Maybe something unique or different in it, something to catch the eye of our listeners. Tell us more.
Sure. Well, the book really was born from me getting known in the community, and then finally a friend, Nikki Jabor, up in Canada, who had a gardening radio show, suggested that I write a tomato book. Story Publishing was looking for someone to write a tomato book. But really, my wife had been, shall I use the word nagging? Let's say bugging, pestering, for years saying, you need to get this down.
Positively encouraging.
She really did, and she's doing the same thing right now with the third book that's sitting in my head that I haven't gotten to yet. So really, signed the contract in 2012, and took me a few years to write it. And, it was really fun. A few unique things about it. There are lots of images of old seed catalogs, and that's a real passion of mine, is genealogy and the history of these. Every tomato in it is from my garden, and in the back are a few really special parts. There's images of letters that many, many gardeners sent me through the years with their special family heirlooms. And something I think is really unique, the results of a 3-year contest I held comparing heirlooms and hybrids to convince myself that I didn't have to grow flavorless hybrids. I could focus on the beautifully colored wonderfully flavored heirlooms and really suffered nothing at all for yield. And so it's got a lot of me in it. And many of the individual things I put in the book, I thought about while my wife and I were walking our dogs at night. And it's, what if I do this? What if I do that? So Story was a wonderful publisher. And I had a wonderful editor, Carlene, who listened to me and took some of my suggestions to make the book unique. So even, after all this time, I'm still really proud of what's in it and really proud of how Story made it beautiful. They did me very, very well with the way that they arranged it, and it's a gorgeous book.
Well, and the way you describe it, you're an individual where your mind doesn't shut off. You just need a notepad. Your thoughts never stop coming, and they're always good thoughts. If I guess do all these things, this vision will appear. I will be able to make this come true.
Well, and I also can touch type 120 words a minute. So the book was mostly in my head. So right. I just needed discipline to sit in front of a laptop, which is hard for me because I want to be kayaking and hiking and gardening and walking the dog. So a little, I retired from Big Pharma, 12 years ago. Now I have to manage my own life and keep myself motivated and keep my little to-do list going. But I like to tick things off every day.
Now, the story with the Cherokee Purple tomato, do you think in the current status that we are in the United States or in the world that there are stories like that still to be told, that this is a tomato that's unnamed, variety that's been around, that it's been on a little farm for 50, 80 years? You think that still exists today?
It still does exist. And even as recently as a few years ago, a fellow named Walt from Connecticut that I met at a garden talk sent me a tomato, the seeds of which had been in his freezer, that his grandmother brought over from Italy, and it had no name. And he was concerned that he was the only one that was growing it. So what I do when people tell me these stories is I contact some of my seed company friends and I say, would you like to carry a tomato that you'll be the only one selling it? Then I have to convince the person with the tomato that the best way to keep it going is to make it as widely available as possible. It's best not to think about trying to make money off a family heirloom, but instead giving it to the world, giving it to gardeners, and let everyone enjoy this wonderful packet of genes that's been passed down through the years for so long.
Now, you grow in straw bales. Is there a process that's involved there? Tell us more about how you got into straw bale gardening. Where did that get discovered?
Well, it came to be in terms of the book I wrote about it because Story asked me, would you like to write a book on straw bales gardening? And I said, well, sure, but I need to convince myself it's a viable technique first. So it took a few years. It turns out when we were living in Raleigh, a sheriff in town was very, very good at growing, gardening in straw bales. So he shared a lot of information with me. I went and saw what he did. I grew to love it. And in fact, here in Hendersonville, North Carolina, where I live, I'm at about 80% straw bales, 20% containers, and it's on our backyard, which is our septic field. So if I couldn't grow in straw bales and containers, I'd have no garden. The process is turning your straw bale essentially into a compost bin, causing the center of it to start breaking down by treating it with heavy nitrogen alternating days, followed by a balanced food like a 10-10-10. 2 weeks from the day you purchase it, you can plant in it. And, I don't only do tomatoes. I do peppers, eggplant, beans, melons, squash, cucumbers, and the yields are incredible. And you're starting with a disease-free environment. So anybody who's a little adventurous and it just clicks with them, they may soon find it's their favorite way to garden.
I know people definitely love it, so it's always nice to hear about it. Yeah. So what is your, you would say is your go-to never fail tomato?
Yeah.
You're like, if somebody's like, I'm new to tomato gardening, Craig, what would you recommend?
I'm going to do a 1A and a 1B, and 1A is Sun Gold hybrid cherry tomato. It's the only hybrid that I allow into my garden these days. Once people eat it, they can't go back, and they grow it year after year. 1B would be Cherokee Purple. So there's your little cherry tomato for snacking in the garden and putting in your salads. And there's your big slicing tomato for putting in your grilled cheese or your burgers and astounding your neighbors and friends. So I really have to. I apologize for being difficult, but I hope you understand.
It's okay. That makes sense.
Now,
Totally
if you ask 100 gardeners, you're going to get 200 answers on this question, but what is your best go-to growing tomato tip?
Oh my gosh, it's actually pretty easy. Learn to love the journey even more than the destination, because anybody who's gardened a while knows that there are no real guarantees. We're at the mercy of changing weather conditions each season and diseases and bugs. So spend time with the plants. Make that one of the best parts of your day. Every day is getting out there, looking at what they're doing, seeing what they're needing. And if you do that, there's a really good chance at the end of the season, you'll be rewarded with a bounty of delicious tomatoes to share with everyone. To me, gardening is a hobby, but it's also a life that you're just out there. The birds are singing, the weather is beautiful, and time just passes so fast. So as you can tell, I've been gardening 40 years and I love it not one iota less than the first shovelful of dirt that I dug all that time ago.
Absolutely love that. We've really enjoyed having you on the program, Craig. How can people find out more about you, your books, your website, etc.?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So the website is CraigLeHoullier.com, CraigLeHoullier.com. And I have a blog that I'm keeping all about our dwarf tomato breeding project is there, about my books, where I'm going to be speaking. And maybe the most interesting way to find me now is Instagram, at NC Tomato Man. And I'm just about to start going live in my garden weekly right through the growing season. 45 minutes, show and tell, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Here are my diseased plants. Here's what the deer ate. Here are my beautiful tomatoes. Then I take questions for 20 minutes. So I really, my dogs are running around. I'm a little bit sweaty. It could be thundering behind me. But that connection with other gardeners and making myself available to them to ask questions, really when COVID hit, it was one of the main ways of communicating. And that's when I started doing it. And then nctomatoman@gmail.com is how to reach me on email. I answer every email I get, and I feel like the world's tomato consultant right now. But it is so much fun, and you get to meet so many wonderful people like you guys.
Absolutely.
Well, Craig, we thank you so much for the time and the information that you've shared with Holly, myself, and all of the listeners. We thank you so much for that.
Wonderful meeting you both. And again, thanks for the opportunity. Happy gardening, everyone.
Absolutely. And when we return, it's your garden questions and our garden answers. You're tuned into the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Azure Standard is America's premier family-owned online store for organic foods and healthy products for your home and garden. They deliver directly to families and commercial customers through over 3,500 drop points across all 50 states. Azure Standard strives to make grocery shopping easy, bringing all your needs to one convenient pickup location. As a trusted national health food distributor, Azure Standard offers bulk and specialty health foods to communities nationwide. With over 12,000 products, each one is approved and carefully sampled to ensure the highest quality. Azure Standard holds firm to non-GMO, organic, and natural standards. From food and beauty products to household items, nutritional supplements, animal care, hobby supplies, and even garden essentials, Azure Standard truly has everything for your daily living. Visit AzureStandard.com. That's AZURE Standard.com. Use promo code Joey and Holly 15 at checkout to get 15% off for new customers who open an account for the first time and place a minimum order of $100 or more, shipped to a drop location of your choice. That's code Joey and Holly 15 at AzureStandard.com. Azure Standard is AZURE Standard.com.
Hey listeners, we're excited to introduce to you Sun Warrior. They are well known for protein powders and supplements, and that they are 100% clean, plant-based, non-GMO, soy-free, gluten-free, dairy-free, and without filler. Since you are into gardening and things that come from the earth, we thought you would appreciate that they offer high-quality plant-based ingredients that come from our Mother Earth and that your body is craving. They've made a special code for you for 25% off your order. At checkout, enter Joey Holly 25 and save 25% on your order at sunwarrior.com. That coupon code JOEYHOLLY 25 to save 25% off your order at sunwarrior.com. Chip Drop is a website you can sign up for free wood chip mulch delivery right to your door for free. Chip Drop connects homeowners and gardeners with tree services who are trying to get rid of their wood chips. You can also sign up to get free logs and firewood. Go to chipdrop.com to learn more and sign up for a free account.
My garden hasn't looked this good in a decade. That's what gardeners are saying about Carricade. No extra fertilizers, no harsh sprays, just thriving plants and massive blooms. Rated 4.8 stars. Shop Carricade.com/radio or Amazon today. Use code RADIO10 to get 10% off at Carricade.com/radio. Goodbye, biting bugs and plant invaders. No More Bugs by Naturally Green Products is your answer. No More Bugs is DEET-free and not sticky on your skin. USDA certified, No More Bugs has been a favorite by consumers across the country for over 14 years. More than a repellent, it is safe for you, your plants, pets, and home. Available online at nomorebugs.net, Amazon, Walmart.com, and the Home Shopping Network. Totally Tomato is a family-owned and operated gardening company with the largest selection of tomatoes online. Use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at totallytomato.com. That's code 15TG25.
Welcome back to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Thank you for being part of the program today. Happy that you are with us. It's time for your garden questions and our garden answers. You got a question? Send it on over. GardenTalkRadio@gmail.com. That's GardenTalkRadio@gmail.com. Or you can give us a call toll-free, coast to coast, anytime into 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. If we can't get to you on the program, leave a message and we will call you back with the answer to your question. Let's see here. What are the best vegetables to grow in partial shade?
So there's a saying, if you grow it for the fruit or root, you need to have full sun. Anything else you can grow in partial shade. So you can grow greens, like spinach, lettuce, etc. You can grow, I'm blanking here, Joey.
You can grow radishes, spinaches, that type of thing.
The lettuces, bok choy, any sort of cabbage, broccoli. I think broccoli needs full sun, though.
Lettuce, spinach, kale, Swiss chard, beets, carrots, radishes, collard greens, mustard greens,
greens.
Peas, kohlrabi, arugula. You can grow green beans and tomatoes in partial shade. Partial shade meaning about minimum of 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours. If you're going to grow tomatoes, you want to go cherry tomatoes because it takes less energy to fulfill the requirements for that fruit. Green beans are going to be smaller. Anything you grow in shade, partial shade, minimum 6 hours, is going to be smaller in stature than if it was in full sun. It's not that these plants love partial shade. They're partial shade tolerant. So keep that in mind. There's a number of vegetables in which you can grow that will do relatively well in partial shade. You just need to be aware, one, will it work in your area? And what's the best situation that you can do? Because here's the other thing. You may think, oh, I'm in full sun now, but you forgot to look up and that tree now will be fully leaved in about 2 months, and you're going to have morning sun, evening sun, and afternoon shade. Oregano, parsley, a lot of the herbs in which you can grow in partial shade is very easy. Like you said, if you're going for the leaves, it can do very well. Multiple great charts online and listings in which you can sort through for your selection of vegetables that you can grow. Gardening for the first time in raised beds. Which material for a frame is better? Pros, cons. In my mind, I'm thinking metal frames may retain more heat and dry out quicker.
So For us, we use untreated lumber.
When we use treated lumber.
Treated lumber, sorry.
2x10s.
2x10s. That would be probably, if you're going to build a raised bed, would be ideal.
Yeah, you can go the route of durablegreenbeds.com. They have the way they manufacture their beds, they last 25 years plus. They're durable. They've got manufactured in the United States, and they're eco-friendly. That's durablegreenbeds.com is a way to go. You can go. You don't have to do a raised bed. You can just do straw bales.
Yeah, you could do straw bales. That's definitely another option. Or you
logs.
could do pop-up raised bed.
Pop-up raised bed.
Those are options. There's plenty of those as well. Sometimes you can even find them at a local garden center, big box store, etc.
You don't even have to have a framework around your bed. You can actually just mound the soil up.
Some people don't like that.
I understand that, but that is a very low cost. Yeah. Here's a 4x8 area. I'm just going to kind of mound the soil up.
Here's my opinion. If I didn't have a husband who was very handy, and I want to grow in a raised bed, I would get a pop-up raised bed.
Okay.
Or like a large grow bag, something like that, and I would have several of them. I feel like they're easy to maintain. I would, and not that a raised bed isn't, but that's my ideal setup, would be like a pop-up situation or some large containers, large grow bags, etc. I do like our raised beds, but they take some time to construct. If I wanted raised beds made out of wood, I probably would try to find somebody to build some for me. Sometimes you can find on like Facebook Marketplace, people will have these pre-made raised beds.
With ours, the lumber was 16 foot long. We had to have it delivered.
Yeah.
And that was a fee in itself.
Right. So there are some, I like our raised beds.
It's an investment.
There's an investment. There's some cons. There's some pros, obviously. But so just think about like what is, my best advice is think about, what you want to grow, what is accessible to you, etc. Best way to remove grass to put in a garden. My son wants to start a garden in his backyard, and we're thinking of in-ground rather than raised bed. Thank you.
Okay, so that's how we started. We started with in-ground, and all I did was
turn the
soil over. And didn't worry about the grass. Just took a shovel, a dirt shovel, and went down all the way, flipped it over, just like you were plowing the ground. So you don't have to necessarily remove. Now, there will be weeds, and by disturbing the soil, by flipping that soil over, you're going to expose those dormant seeds that can lay dormant for up to 80 years in some varieties. But that is kind of the payment for being a low cost. You're going to have to deal with weeds pretty regularly by flipping the soil over. Other people will take and remove that upper layer, that 2 or 3 inches of sod, and throw that in a pile and let that compost. But then the bad part about it, then you've got a lower spot in the garden or in the area that's 1 or 2 inches down because you've removed the sod. So just flip the soil over. Absolutely. If you did a soil test and everything looks good, make your permanent grow area and your designated walk paths and have at it, low cost, and away you go. You're going to have weeds, part of the deal. Use mulch, and that'll be fine. So you can do that. Weed barrier, we tried that. It doesn't work as well as you may think. So should I mulch on top of my drip lines or underneath?
You want to mulch on top. You would want to put your drip lines down, and then you put the mulch over the top. That's just what works best.
That's what works best, yeah. But check with the manufacturer. Sometimes the manufacturer has different requirements in order for the operation of that irrigation system to work properly, to mulch on top or laid on top or put the mulch underneath it or on top. So looking for a cheaper way to make raised beds. The cost to start with purchasing metal raised beds are so expensive. Any idea would be appreciated. Do you use treated lumber? We spoke about that earlier. We use treated lumber. Now, we've taken an old wooden door and cut it in 8-inch widths and created a raised bed with that. Now, it lasted 2 seasons. It was an old wood door that was in the attic.
If you have...
There's no wrong answer to this.
We also have used drawers.
Yeah.
We've used a lot of different things. We used some hard shell Gulf cover thing.
It's a travel bag it's a hard shell travel
hard
bag
shell.
for your golf clubs, yeah.
You can get really creative here. So, and especially if you're new to gardening and you want to start small and you find like an old dresser on the side of the road and you want to utilize that for a raised bed, go for it.
Make sure it is solid wood and not the compressed composite.
The composite.
Because the composite, you look at it wrong and it explodes because of the moisture that absorbs in it. What is your rabbit prevention methods?
We use a fence for a long time. We use a little 2-foot tall chicken wire fence.
Poultry fencing is also another name of the industry.
Yeah, that's probably the best way. Now we
have the raised beds, but we do put the fencing around it because the rabbits do jump up that 8 to 10 or that 10 inches and decide to sit in the raised bed and devour the plants. So we will get the bed prepped, we will get the bed planted, and then we will put one post in each corner and one post in the center on each side, and then wrap that chicken wire or poultry wire around it and make sure that it is fixed to where they can't get up underneath it, and that works really well.
You know, I'm so used to having that fence there, I didn't even think about it, and it is around our raised beds. So yeah, that's the best method for us. I know it's an investment. It can kind of be a pain to set up, but it's our most successful way.
It is amazing how quickly vegetables grow and produce when they're not getting ate down every evening by the rabbits.
I'm gonna say that you're gonna find all these answers like using hair, using marigolds. Rabbits eat the marigolds. There's like, spook them away, whatever, chase them down, get a farmer to come and shake something at them, whatever. But for us, it was using the physical barrier, and this seems to be a common thing for many pests in the garden. Many animals in the garden is using a physical barrier of some sort, and it works, and I would just continue to recommend it.
I'll keep it clean, but a rabbit that's not breathing won't come back, is what some people may believe, but other people
might live in an area that you can't dispatch rabbits.
Do it at night.
Yeah.
Tune in next week. We're out of time. We appreciate your attentiveness and tuning in this week. Tune in next week to the program where we'll be discussing that it's not totally true. Garden misconceptions that are kind of right, but have taken a whole new life with misinformation, as well as lettuces. Now, we have done for 9 years, going 8+ years, 565 segments of topics, and we've never covered lettuces. We're going to cover that next week. The world of lettuces, leaf and head lettuce, the whole deal. As well as Master Gardener and Master Food Preserver, Linda Zidarich will be with us, and will answer your garden questions. So, until next week, for
Holly Baird,
I'm Joey Baird, and we will see you in the garden.